Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the Packers Total Access Pregame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin, fresh off a deer hunting trip. Sound like it didn't go too good. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk Packers Vikings as we're coming down to the wire here. It's the 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 a.m. We're about, an hour and a half from kickoff, roughly, getting all the inactives coming in here in a flurry of tweets. So we'll hit all that stuff for you. We'll also take you around the NFC North, kind of set the stage for some of these other matchups, which we had a live stream last night. That was a lot of fun, just chatting with everybody about the playoff implications that are on the line. We may talk a little power rankings too, kind of see where each of these teams line up in terms of where they rank offensively, defensively, record-wise, all that good stuff. Before we get into it, if you would, do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live here in the future. If you're new here, thank you for making us part of your pregame festivities as we get this thing kicked off and take you right up to kickoff. Packers, Vikings. I'm excited about this one. Let's go around the horn one time. I want to know how everybody feels in here. Let us know in the chat. How do you feel about this game? Obviously, the Packers, last I checked, were 6-point favorites. I'll double-check that line right now. We'll start with you. Let's start with you, Tim. How you feeling about this game against the Vikings today, sir? Packers, Vikings, Lambeau, 45 degrees roughly, right? Should be nice.
Always a good day to beat the Vikings, right? We were a little banged up, especially on the offensive side of the ball. No MG, no Josh Jacobs today. We're going to need our role players to step up. You know, I'm going to need a big game out of my boy, E. Wilson, today, and I think we're going to get it. So I'm feeling good heading into this one. You know, the first of 3 divisionals in a row. We got one at home. We'll get the dub, man. I got confidence in our boys today.
Jacob, how you feeling, man? Obviously, we'll get into all the inactives, the details there, how it may affect the game plan. But just on the surface, how you feeling about this Packers-Vikings matchup, man?
Man, I'll be lying if I said I was fully confident. To Tim's point, we got a couple key components out in addition to ones that we've lost, obviously, previously. That being said, I do feel like that the Packers are going to be coming out with the piss hot today. I just feel like that's going to be a thing. I love the noon games. I feel like it gives you a little more, I should say less time to just maybe get in your own head kind of thing. And we got J.J. McCarthy coming in his first start at Lambeau, I believe. So, you know, that's not an easy task. Also, to Tim's point, Emmanuel Wilson, we need to see some I'm trying not to swear. I need to see him come out with a little aggressivity, if you will, and actually start hitting the holes. And I think he will. Just real quick, Prize Brooks has him slated at 70.5 yards. So they think that we're going to use him and use him well. And to his credit, man, that guy runs, and he runs real well. I'm actually very excited to see what he can do when he gets a full game under his belt. And we haven't really quite seen that, obviously, with the Josh Jacobs signing and all that, which anytime you're without Josh Jacobs or a guy of his caliber, it's going to be a little bit, worrisome. But if there was anybody in the league that I think could pick up that slack, it's a guy like E. Wilson. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Got it. I want to give a shout out to Wendell Ferreira over on X. He posted Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, and Quay Walker are out today. Lucas Van Ness and Carl Brooks are in. So you're getting LVN back, which is great news, obviously. And, of course, you are going to be down Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden. I know the shoulder was an issue. Jacob, you said there was another injury involved too. What was it you heard?
They said a wrist and a shoulder. Got
it. All right. So Matthew Golden dealing with a couple of different things there. Quay Walker, no surprise. We kind of expected him to not play. He was listed as doubtful, and it's rare you see a doubtful on the injury report. So there, you can tell what the Packers are doing is, look, they're trying to kind of fall back here a little bit, get ready for Thanksgiving against the Lions, and kind of approach it that way. There's no reason to try to rush those guys out there. If you lose this game, it's not the end of the world. We've talked about the playoff implications, man. These next 3 or 4 weeks are going to be absolutely wild. You like your chances without those guys against the Vikings way better then you like your chances without those guys against the Lions. And Tim, if you rush those dudes out there, like for instance, Josh Jacobs here, right? Let's see what Tom Pelissero said. Tom Pelissero said Josh Jacobs pushed all week to play despite his bone bruise and thigh contusion, but the Packers decided to play it cautiously with a short week upcoming. There was no pregame workout, just the conversation when Jacobs arrived. There is hope he could play Thanksgiving at Detroit. So they're obviously holding out hope to get him back against the Lions. So, again, this ain't a slam dunk win, Tim, as we talked about. They are still 6.5-point favorites as it sits right now. When it's a division rival, you throw the record out the window, you throw the odds out the window. Anything can happen at Lambeau. I like our chances, though. When you look at the key matchups, in terms of comparing one team to the other, I like Matt LaFleur slightly over KOC. It's pretty close. So I think KOC is a good coach. I like Jordan Love over JJ McCarthy. I don't feel like that one's close. They probably we have the better overall tackles, but they've got a really, really good offensive line, in my opinion. They're getting Kelly back at center, if I remember correctly, if I heard the reports right. And then when you look at edge rushers, we hands down have the better edge rushers, because some other news that broke here is Jonathan Grenard for the Vikings, per Tom Pelissero, he's going to be out. So Vikings Pro Bowl outside linebacker, edge defender, edge rusher, right? Jonathan Grenard will be inactive today against the Packers. Coach Kevin O'Connell just told me second straight game Grenard has missed because of a shoulder injury. So we've got the edge and the edge rushers, no pun intended, right? Offensive line is kind of close on the edge in terms of blocking. However, I do think they have the little bit better offensive line. I think we got the better quarterback, and I think we got the slightly better coach. But anytime you're close to 2-2 there, Tim, of those four matchups, probably going to look up and have a one-score game, maybe even a 3-point game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's no guarantee we're going to, boat race the Vikings. The goal is get the dub, right? Be 1-0 again, get the win. They're banged up. We're banged up. It's, we're past the halfway point in the season. I would anticipate a pretty gritty, kind of grimy kind of game. A win is a win is a win. I don't care if it's ugly. But that being said, I could see it being closer than maybe a lot of us Packer fans would like to admit. We'd like to beat the Vikings by 2 or 3 scores, but we'll take a 1-point win if that's what it comes down to. This season has been no stranger to Packer fans being a little bit frustrated, even coming out with a win. So I think today's the day that you just get it done, however you have to. It doesn't have to be pretty. Like I said, we're missing guys on both sides of the ball. So are they. And, a couple of key guys, for both of these teams. So I think it's going to be we're going to be in for a treat today at Lambeau for sure.
Yeah. Cannonball John says in the chat, protect the ball, rush forward, contain JJ, make him throw to beat you, let the D put the O in good field position and get touchdowns. And I would add to that, Cannonball John, stop trying to go for it on 4th down when you're at their 20 or whatever. Let's go ahead and take those 3 points. Take every point you can get there. Don't look up at the end of the game and go, well, hell, we lost by 2 and we passed up on 2 field goals. You hit one of those 2, but you decide to go for it on 4th down. You end up losing the ball game by a point or what would have been a point. So completely agree about that with JJ too, man. Make him play quarterback today and make him throw it into the teeth of the defense. Right now, if you want to dial up some fire zone blitzes, I'm not opposed to that, because to me, he doesn't seem like the type of quarterback, at least early on, that could change today, where he's going to get to the answer to the problem sooner rather than later. We've seen him kind of hold the ball a little bit, put himself in a bad situation rather than just check it down. So maybe you do come out with a little bit of fire zone blitzing, kind of like what you showed against the Giants last week, to put Jameis Winston in a position to throw the ball into coverage several times. We just couldn't capitalize on it. And those are coming, I believe. I really believe that. So again, with Grenard being out, that's absolutely huge. I will say this, Jacob, we get to see a little Tyron Hopper today, man. We're going to see what we got there. I imagine he's going to be in for the base packages, and they'll let McDuffie play the nickel 4-2-5. But also wouldn't be surprised if we look up and they keep McDuffie just as that 4-3 base linebacker, and you let Tyron Hopper get some of those nickel snaps as well. If I remember correctly, he was a very athletic linebacker, Jacob, coming out in the draft. I want to say it was a 4.4 or 4.5 40. They said they had him clocked at, so pretty quick guy.
Thick. So, I'm very excited to see that. I think Hopper has earned the opportunity to get where he's at now. I think McDuffie has been kind of an unheralded hero, where he's just a steady Eddie. I believe, wasn't he, the last time we checked, he's still hovering around the 80s mark in PFF. So they agree that he's actually, playing some pretty good football. Would I love to have Quay Walker in there? Absolutely, always. But, to Coach Len's point, it's hopper time, baby. And he's been in the hopper, kind of waiting, no pun intended there. And it's been a tough, when you got edge defenders and linebackers that I think have been performing arguably better than we've had in a long time at that, at those positions, that it's going to be fun to see. We get some younger blood coming in there and seeing what they can do. And people always kind of look over the start of people's careers, and this could be one of those games that all of a sudden splashes that guy on the map. And if that is going to be, and he's going to have his hands full, because Jones, if you don't think Jones, he's going to come out and want to get some little revenge running down our throats. And what's the other back that they got? Mason, I believe, that they got from San Fran. I think they're going to try to establish a run early and often, if I had to guess, just because, like, to your point, JJ McCarthy coming in as a young guy, probably going to have a few missteps here and there. And I just hope that, again, to your point, that we capitalize on the possible interceptions, the possible turnovers that we kind of let, slide a little bit through the beginning of this year. But I'm telling you, man, I feel like this team is starting to heat up. And today, if we get a win, it's going to absolutely get that piss hot.
There you go. So some of the guys that are missing here now, someone had tweeted out that the Vikings were without their leading tackler. All right. It says, Zach Cruz tweeted out, Packers will be without their leader in yards and touchdowns and their leader in tackles. I'm sorry. That was talking about Quay Walker. I heard that their best stackbacker was out. I'm guessing that may be Austin Keys here. But here are the inactive lists for the Minnesota Vikings. Linebacker Austin Keys, outside linebacker edge rusher Jonathan Grenard, guard Joe Huber, tackle Walter Rouse, tight end Ben Urasek, and defensive lineman Elijah Williams. Their offensive line, according to KOC in the pregame show that I was watching, it sounds like KOC, this is the first time this year they're expected to have their preferred starting 5 offensive linemen on the field. So that may control the pass rush a little bit more than you would want it to. But again, the main thing is don't let them establish the run. Make J.J. McCarthy beat you. If we look up at the end of the day and J.J. McCarthy dice you up for 300 yards and they get the dub, I can live with that. I can go, hey, man, he had a hell of a game, and nobody expected that. What I can't handle is us going in and saying, okay, we know J.J. McCarthy has played like cheeks up to this point. Let's make him play left-handed. Let's make him beat us, and let's really play the run. So don't get too crazy with the blitzing. Make sure you keep 7 in coverage, because they still got a good receiving core, and they're due to break out at any moment. Hawkinson, obviously, a good tight end underneath. And then, of course, you've got Justin Jefferson, Jay Jetta, and you've also got our boy. Yeah. I mean, you've got, Jordan Addison, and then out of the backfield, too, outside of Aaron Jones. I still haven't gotten this answer. I need to go to PFF. They still have Madison, right? Am I thinking right? Or is it, what was his name?
Jordan Mason, I believe.
Mason, that's it. He used to play for the Niners, right?
Yep.
Solid football.
Could I pose a question? Because I was watching NFL Network on my phone.
You weren't watching NFL Network. You were watching the ladies on NFL Network.
Well, them ladies is nice looking, I tell you. But they had a little segment where they had Mooch in there, which, God, I still love that guy. I wish he would come back to coach, and I don't know why he's not. But they kind of picking their tools for the game. They all kind of picked Micah Parsons. And one of the other gentlemen on that podcast, I believe he had to be a former player. I didn't catch his name, but he was talking about how, Micah Parsons is kind of not great at stopping the run. I would argue that he's actually shown that he's getting better at doing that, depending on what the scheme and what the coach is kind of asking him to do. So his theory was that they're going to run at Micah Parsons today and try to expose him as being a weakness. Do you think that one, I was going to say,
bring it on.
All right. So one, do you think they're going to make that happen? 2, would you try to scheme him if you're Halfley, maybe doing some more of that kind of spy stuff where he's kind of sitting over the 1 or 2 gap and just maybe, kind of doing a lot of the shell spy stuff, doing a lot of the kind of, what do you call that, Clayton? The mug look where he's kind of coming up.
Yeah, what they showed was, they got their cheetah package where it's 3 edge rushers, 1 defensive tackle, and they played it 2 different ways. They put Micah, they played a multitude of ways, but they put Micah in at the 3 tech rushing sometimes, and that's what we call, cheetah 1 package. And then they'll also do the 3-3-5 with Micah as the Joker 1, where he's standing up over the A gap. He's essentially standing behind the nose tackle and rushing up the middle. So that's what you're referring to there, Jacob. That's what we call Joker 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of stopping the run with them, and being concerned that they may run at Micah Parsons, anybody who turns on the tape, you don't look at Mike and go, "Oh my God, man, why ain't people running at him?" That just don't happen. It don't. Now you get yourself in a passing situation, it's 3rd and 12, and you're pinning your ears back in pass rushing, and they hit you with a draw play. That happens every week in the NFL, right? I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with Micah, right, Tim? It's more. I don't see how anybody can watch the tape and think Micah is not good at stopping the run. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I think maybe the only thing is he's such an elite pass rusher that kind of overshadows how he looks in the run fits. I mean, because he's known as such a good pass rusher, but I mean, pay attention. Mike is damn good against the run too. Obviously, not the strong attribute of his game like the pass rush ability is, but he
best pass percentage right now in the league, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy.
But he's certainly not a liability in the run game. So, like, I don't know where this, figment of people's imagination has developed, but it's certainly not what we're seeing when we watch him play football. So I welcome it. I hope they run right at his face today and get tackled. Let's go.
Amen, dude. Wolfpack in the chat says Aaron Jones is known to put the football on the ground too still, right? Yeah, he is. He is, right? Now, let's do this. Let's pop this up on the screen real quick since he mentioned that. This is our team rankings. It's kind of like our PTA power rankings, if you will. And I'm going to explain what everything means here. And shout out to Emilio putting this together, doing a hell of a job.
Excelio.
So what you have over here on the just from left to right, you've got the overall rank, right? You've got the winning percentage, offensive scoring, which is points per play, defensive scoring, which is points per play allowed, offensive yards per play, defensive yards per play, and then turnover margin. And you can sort them all however you want, right? So if we go in here and we sort by the overall grade, there is the number in which these guys are ranked. These teams are ranked. Rams 1, Colts 2, Lions 3. Let me zoom that in there. Y'all probably having a hard time seeing that, ain't you? There we go. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. Colts 2, Detroit Lions 3, Seattle Seahawks 4. We got the Green Bay Packers 5th, New England Patriots 6th, Denver Broncos 7th, Philadelphia 8th. 9th is the Pittsburgh Steelers. 10th is the Houston Texans. Then you got Buffalo, KC. You got to get all the way down here a little bit further, right, to find those Minnesota Vikings. They're actually ranked 20th on our board. Now, why is that? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Their winning percentage, right? They're 21st in the league in winning percentage. That's their rank, okay? Offensive points per play, so offensive scoring, they're 16th in the league. They're 13th in defensive scoring. So everybody loves B-Flow, and I think he's a great defensive mind, but he is outside of the top 10 in scoring defense as it sits this year right now, okay? Offensive yards per play, so how effective are they at moving the ball, meaning on a per-play basis, what do they typically average in yards gained? They're 19th in the league. Now, defensively, they're 8th. So what's that tell you? The red zone defense may be struggling a bit, right? And the other thing is the turnover differential. They're 31st in turnover margin, turnover differential. So going back to what the gentleman said in the chat there about, does Aaron Jones still put the ball on the turf? The Vikings have been bad at turning the ball over and not taking the ball away in terms of those two things working collectively together. So if you go out and protect the football, at the end of the game, whoever's got the positive turnover differential, Jacob, that's how I see this game. If we come out and we're a +1 in turnover ratio and turnover differential, right, and you're probably going to look up and go, okay, we won by 6 points, we won by 3 points. You win it. If you win the turnover differential by 2, you may be looking at, anywhere from a 7 to a 10-point win here. However, you lose that turnover differential. I don't care how bad these teams are. You lose that turnover differential, you're going to pay. If you're a -1 in turnover differential, you're probably going to look up at the end of the game and go, well, crap, the Vikings beat us. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Yeah. And to your point earlier, like you said, I mean, it's going to be a hard game. It's a divisional game. That means that they're going to play their asses off no matter what. And I like kind of what Chuck Jaggers is saying here. I said, I hope Jordan did his studying this week. B-Flow will blitz. If I'm not mistaken, he has one of the highest blitz percentages in the NFL. But the opposite side of that coin is that Jordan Love has been surprisingly good against the blitz. And I'm pretty sure if he's not one of the, if not the best performers against the blitz, which a lot of people would not understand if you're just, I hate saying hater Packer fans, but it seems like this year we just have a lot of people on this whatever train that think that Jordan Love's not playing good, that the Packers are a crappy team, that that for whatever reason, they're not putting a lot of respect on Jordan Love's name when I think that he is handling. I think that his release time is top 3, if not the best. I think like he's actually handling the blitz very well. So if they want to come and try to do that, then look at that. We didn't even talk about this. Okay. Let's go. Let's go on the stats.
Friend of the show, Carson Caldwell, tweeted this out yesterday. Vikings blitz 51.8% of the time. That's the highest rate in the NFL. Okay. Jordan Love versus the blitz, 88.6 PFF grade, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5.4% big time throw rate, and 80.6% adjusted completion percentage. So when you remove the drops, that's how accurate he is against the blitz. Now, people hear that and they go, but hold up a minute. He's got an extremely low passer rating under pressure. Right. Just because a team blitzes doesn't mean he's under pressure. It means recognizing the blitz, getting the ball out quick, right, Tim? Getting to what we talked about J.J. McCarthy struggles with, getting to the answer to the equation as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's Jay Money. And I guarantee you he's done his homework. I guarantee you he's been studying. And if that means, getting the legs moving and, extending the pocket, or if that means get to that check down, get the ball out quick, don't stand there and pat the ball. I think Jordan's going to do it. You can really tell a lot about a younger quarterback based on how he handles pressure, and not just the blitz, but pressure in general. Right. And I think today's the day we're gonna shut the haters up, honestly, because I agree with the sentiment that the Vikings are gonna blitz. They're gonna send the dogs, banged up on defense or not, our O-line being banged up or not. You're gonna see it, and it's gonna come down to how Jordan is really pre-snap diagnosing what he's seeing. Identifying the mic, doing the things that he needs to do. We saw it last week against the Giants. Jordan canning, out of a run or canning to a run at the perfect time. Like you said, solving that equation. A lot of that happens pre-snap, and it's going to come down to how he's running that huddle. Are we breaking the huddle with enough time, to make those decisions you need to make, or are we running up and having to snap the ball really quick? Every little thing is going to affect how you deal with what the defense is throwing at you. And I've got confidence in my boy Jay Money, the dime thrower. So we're going to be in for a treat. I hope they do send the dogs, and Jordan carves them up all day long. Let's go.
Yeah. Chester Marco in the chat says screens to Emmanuel Wilson. That's one way you can combat it, right? Another thing too are RPOs out of trips and tray looks, right? Because what you're doing is you're forcing their hand on the blitz, and if they line up in man coverage, if they want to play bump and run, and you come out and let's say a 21 RPO bubble, right? And you come to the line, okay, and they're bumped up on the line. Guess what Jordan does? Check. Let's go max protect. Give me a dagger concept. Let's take the top off this damn thing with Christian Watson, right? Yep. Because again, that's in a zero blitz term there. Now, if we look at the coverage and what they've done this year in terms of 2025, this statistic says they're a really good pass defense, right? It's essentially saying they're 6th or 7th best in the league in EPA per drop back, tied for that with a flat 0 EPA per drop back. But again, when you look at the coverage that they run this year, they're running cover 2 zone 26% of the time. They're running cover 3 zone 19% of the time. Cover 6 zone, which is quarter, half, 14% of the time, or half, quarter. Cover 4, 13% of the time. When you go to man coverage, all right, that's right. When you go to man coverage, 12% of the time, they're playing cover 1 man, middle field close, single high safety, man coverage across the board, probably firing an extra defender.
That's when they're going to get lit up. Go ahead and run that. Go ahead and run that cover 1 man against this Packers team. I dare you.
If you go cover 1 man and you're a Will Fire, Sam Fire, Mike Fire, whatever, or even a nickel fire, and you run a screen pass, they don't recognize it, you're talking about a home run hit. Also, crossers against cover 1 man. However, what you really want to key in on, this is what we're talking about. Zero blitz, 6% of the time. That means goose, no safeties on the shelf. You're playing man coverage across the board, and you're firing everybody off. Maybe it's a green dog blitz underneath. If somebody's not in the route, everybody's blitzing other than the people who are in the route. You're going to cover that guy man to man. I like our chances against that. But the protection's got to hold up. You got to have some really, really predetermined check with me's at the line, which we seen that last week with Scoot and Jordan. So another one you could throw in there's a little slot fade action against a cover 1 man, especially if you go with a 2x2 set and actually flex the Y out or the U, however you want to approach it. That's another way you can hit on one of those slot fade looks as well. So if they play soft, hammer the curl, take what they give you. If they're playing bump, go over the top with that non-fade.
Do you guys think that there could be a possible, again, kind of in the same vein as all this, trying to expose that type of aggressive defense they may play? A guy like Savion Williams has a breakout game, whether it be on, kind of the gadgety end around type stuff, or just the fact that they kind of expose the fact that he's a big-bodied receiver. He knows how to kind of maybe work certain zones, work certain coverages. And to Tim's point, if they're going to try to go man on us, then, just being able to kind of do some quick turnaround routes and that sort of stuff, where a guy like him, he just seems like it's clicking for him. You know what I mean? So, I mean, do you think that he could possibly have a game where he exposes the B flow type of aggressive defense, or am I just kind of wishing that?
I mean, we got 2 snaps out of him last week.
And that's what I'm saying. They know that they made a mistake.
They were pretty damn good snaps.
Exactly.
My concern is that whatever he's dealing with that foot, I don't know. Was he in a walking boot again today? Have we got an update on how Savion's doing?
I'm pretty sure he's a go, but
okay.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering how, hopefully it's more than 2 snaps today. And I would think, with no Matthew Golden, we might see a little more Savion Williams, hopefully.
Yeah, you got to think in terms of deployment. Like, what is that going to look like? With Savion last week against the Giants, like you said, he only had, 2 snaps or whatever it was. Well, when you did put him in there, obviously the game was on the line. It's like, okay, look, we got to get him out there, right? So your receivers are going to be Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavion Wicks is going to be your focal point, right? So you got to ask yourself, like Tim said, how healthy is Savion? That's going to determine how many snaps he takes away from Wicks. Also, to me, with Matthew Golden being out, it screams we're going to press into 12 personnel. So now you've put 2 or 3 games on of footage on tape, right, of playing the U, flexing the U, and then bringing him into the H position and having a 2-back set. Do you continue to do that because you've had success? Or do you know, hey, they're going to approach this. They're going to look at this knowing that we like to bring that U into the backfield and give kind of an I formation or a split back look. Because, again, everybody's kind of trying to stay one step ahead of each other, and everybody's got access to the tape. With that being said, they are a 34 defense, so they're a 2-gap defense, right? A 2-gap defense is more well designed to stop a 2-back approach. So maybe today is the day that you come out like we talked about earlier in the week. Keep this in mind because it's going to happen sooner or later, I should say. We have been showing the U flexed out, 12 personnel, right? 1 running back, 2 tight ends. We've been showing the U and the Y flexed out. The U would shift to the I formation or the offset I. We've seen that. Now look for Matt LaFleur to potentially break the huddle, show the I with the U playing H, and now flex him out and try to make them play left-handed in that regard. I'm kind of expecting to see that. It may not happen today, but pretty soon. I would rather go single back approach, ace sets, right? Single back. And I don't like pistol much. You guys know I've been vocal about that. But single back sets, whether you're out of the ace or the gun, I would rather go that approach with a 2-gap approach rather than playing right into their hands. Because, again, as they always say, even though you may be a 1-gap defense, 2 backs equals 2 gaps typically, right? Yeah. Not all the time, but typically.
I'm wondering if Tim's got some inside information because Prize Picks is not touching Savion Williams. They are not giving him any over-unders either in the rush or the passing yards. Does that mean, like what Coach Len's comment here, you see to Clayton's point, the 12 personnel, are we going to see a Josh Wiley breakout game? Maybe that's the more interesting factor there that we need to think about. But I've liked a lot of what I've seen out of him. And, as much as I like Musgrave in theory, I feel like we just keep waiting for him to break out and it just doesn't seem to be happening. So in that aspect, do you kind of put a little more, put your eggs in the basket more of a guy like Wiley to have a breakout game, or would you maybe still think that Savion could come out, or maybe, Dontavion or somebody that we haven't really seen? It seems like last year, we just, it's rare to have 100-yard game out of our receivers or our tight ends other than Tuck Norris. And even him, he didn't do it all the time. So it's like, who's going to be that guy that kind of takes it out? Do you think it's a Watson game? Like that to me seems a little more logical, but I don't, what do you think about that, Tim? Do you think that there's any?
I mean, I think Scoot's the definite obvious answer the way he's been playing. Right. But I got to stick up for my boy, Romy Rome. He's due. But again, like not having that one dude, that quote unquote wide receiver one, the guy that's going to get, 120 yards and, 100 targets and 10 touchdowns a game. I mean, I'm okay with spreading the ball around. We know Jordan does that. You look at some of the, the completion charts over the last few weeks, and you see there's a lot of different guys getting, a handful of targets. Obviously, Scoot is probably his most comfortable weapon out there, or maybe Rome would be the top two. So I think it's going to be all hands on deck against the Vikings. We'll see what happens. I mean, if Savion can be a factor, I'm all for it. I think maybe that's why your prize picks and some of these sites maybe don't want to touch him, because they're looking at last week, the foot issue and only 2 snaps. Yeah. So going into this matchup, maybe they see more of the same. But I think, we're going to see Jordan try and spread that ball around. And, game on the line, think play or not play, where he's going to go in those crucial situations. We saw it last week, 0 hesitation on a high snap, throw that shot to Scoot, let him go up and make a play. I think we'll see more of that today, but I do think Jordan's going to spread this ball around in the passing game.
And just real quick, in case anybody's interested, Christian Watson at 51.5 over under, Romeo Doubs 49.5. So they are saying that they're going to kind of try to split that between the two of what I would think of our wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2.
All right, so when you look at their defense, going back to the whole conversation about 11 and 12 personnel, we're probably going to see more of 12 personnel than we have in the past, with Golden being out. If that's the case, when they're in their nickel and we're in 11, right, 3 wide receiver sets, their stack backers are Cashman and Wilson. Now, obviously, you do not see Grenard on here at edge, so they've already replaced him with Turner. It looks like Turner and Van Ginkel will be your edge rushers. Now, when we go to 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, this is what changes here, right? Those 2 stack backers are still in place. Now they're going to be bringing in an extra defensive lineman. So you got to ask yourself, you got what, 55, 60, and 69 out of the base. And then you got 61, 60, 69, and 63. So when you force them in the base, you're bringing in Allen now. And Jonathan Allen has not played good football the last 3 years, including this season here. So probably I would imagine the analytics and the tape would suggest let's try to live in a little 12 personnel today. And also, when we go 12, keep in mind, we'll break out that Y70 set, bring Kennard in as the extra tight end, and run the damn ball down their throat. So that's something else to take into consideration. You guys talk there for just a second. I'm going to see if I can pull up how effective they are against the run and the pass here real quick.
I love that idea, because if you look at Allen, the guy's a pass rusher. That's really what he's, his strong suit is. I like the idea, going to 12 and run right at an MFer's face, as we so eloquently say from time to time. We've seen the ability to run out of 11 personnel, but I think we might be better suited to go ahead and try and attack in 12 personnel, or like you said, those looks with the extra linemen.
Yeah. When you look at their run defense, Jacob, they are ranked 11th in run defense. They're only allowing 4.1 yards per carry on average. That's tied with teams like Houston, Indianapolis, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay. Well, Tampa Bay slightly below. So Houston, Indianapolis, and San Francisco all sitting at 4.1 yards per carry allowed. Now, when you look at their passing defense, Minnesota is sitting in the 21st spot, 6.7 yards per pass attempt. What I'm thinking here, a lot of 12 personnel, passing out of 12 personnel, which we did a lot of that last week when the game was on the line. So.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And it seems like the lines are starting to tighten up. Manuel Wilson was up over 70 yards. Now they lowered it down to 68.5. Chris Brooks, who I think could possibly be a little more involved in this game than a lot of people may think, just to your point. Good in pass protection, good handing the ball off to him, really good at receiving as well. And I think that there's people that are probably thinking, oh, they don't have Josh Jacobs, so that means they're not going to try to force the run. I think that's a mistake to have that type of mentality. I think that, to your point, Matt LaFleur is going to come out there maybe in a heavier personnel. What do you call that? The U70 package, where we got a big old dog like Kennard out there. Emilio loves that. That's the only time he'll really speak up in the chat. He'll just, oh, look at this. We got the big old package in there. And
he likes those big old packages.
Didn't he, though? But to be honest, I think that they may try to run and establish that run early and often. And even though the Vikings, to your point, are, probably towards the higher of the league of being a decent run defense, I think that this is just the type of game where it's that black and blue type of kind of old school divisional type game. I hope it's not, because I cannot stand just, how much of a nail biters these games seems to be every single game this year, which is, doing a number on my heart and my ticker and all that. So I just, it'd be great if we came out and were able to maybe get a quick score and then establish a run. That would make me feel a little more at ease. But, I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest, if I'm being honest.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right, man.
And again, we refer to the the Kennard package as Y70. And the reason being is back in the day when they had Kevin Berry playing tackle in Mike Sherman's heavy run sets, right? They would go 22-I, which is a big I look, right? 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. And when they would break that out, he would be playing the U spot. What Matt LaFleur's doing is coming out in 12 personnel, and he's actually got Grenard playing Y, the attached tight end, as opposed to the U, who typically is playing off, depending on how you look at the offense. So that's why we refer to it as Y70. If you want to call it U70, it's virtually the same thing. I just like to identify the Y as the guy on the line of scrimmage, typically attached. The U is the more of the motion guy, the guy that goes into the backfield. You typically don't have your Y in the 12 personnel go into the backfield and play the H. It's almost always your utility guy, your U at the tight end position. So,
what would you consider out of the three? Would be Fitzpatrick, Musgrave, and now Wiley. Who would you consider a U and who the opposite?
All right, so you're saying out of all of our 3 tight ends, Musgrave is more of a Y, but honestly, he's more of a flex Y. I don't even see him as a Y or a U. He's a guy that you want to flex him out almost like a wide receiver. Now, they'll play him at Y, right? They kind of have to. That's why his snap count went down last week, because they wanted to press into the running game with that 12 personnel heavy, the Y70 look, as well as bringing a U into the backfield, because that's just not his bread and butter. Now, if you break it down to Fitzpatrick and Wiley, I think you're wanting to get Wiley on the field as much as possible, just what he's shown so far. He's been able to grab the playbook, and he's been quite versatile. Fitzpatrick's kind of taken a step back a little bit in my eyes. But if I had to choose between those two, which one I would rather play, the U or the Y, I would personally rather have Fitzpatrick as the Y and Wiley as the U. That way, when you cheat motion him over and get him on those empty releases and stuff, or you want to put him in the backfield, I have more faith in Wiley playing H-back or fullback as opposed to Fitzpatrick. Although last year I was saying Fitzpatrick was that guy. So it does show you that they were able to comb through the scrap heap and find an upgrade for that U position, which is pretty damn impressive for both Goody and LaFleur kind of getting together and figuring that out. So Wiley's he's impressed me, man. And it's not that Fitzpatrick's played horrible or anything, but you see Fitzpatrick missing blocks a little more often than you do Wiley. There's something about Wiley, that extra half a step he takes to get his face into the chest, and he ain't afraid to grab outside and then drive up in, right? Yep. Which you stay outside and you don't drive to him, you're getting called for a hold. And he does that really well. He'll put his face right into a MFer's chest, no doubt.
Yep. Much like we talked about our boy Chris Brooks doing the same thing, handling that the same way. And that's what we're going to need against this Vikings D today for sure.
That blitz, right? Chris Brooks and pass protection will be huge. So you'll see a significant amount of Chris Brooks today, I would imagine, because again, their passing defense 21st, their run defense 11th, right? That says probably need to pass a little bit more than you're going to run the ball today. All right. Well, but we got Josh Jacobs. Not today, you don't.
Right.
That probably says we're going to pass a little more than we need to run today. Well, they blitz a lot. Well, Jordan Love has been really, really good against the blitz. That suggests you're going to pass a little bit more than you're going to run today. What's Jordan Love's over-under for passing yards today, Jacob? Any idea there, man? I'm eager to hear that one.
Yeah,
Jordan Love.
He was at 235 just up until about 10 minutes ago. I'm trying to get this to reload to see if that's updated as well. But just to that point, too, Chris Brooks only at 14.5 rushing yards. So I think that would be one I grab. Yeah, it's 235.5 for Jordan Love's passing yards. J.J. McCarthy at 190.5.
I would hammer the over on Jordan Love's passing, just based off everything we covered. It doesn't mean it's going to hit, and we don't get betting advice here. We always got to say that, all right? This is just my personal opinion. However, everything points to J. Love passing for more than 235 yards. Now, if we jump up to an early lead, they turn the ball over. If it turns into a Notre Dame game yesterday, I don't know if y'all seen that, but
both ways.
Notre Dame was up 21-0 before their offense stepped on the field. Everybody's like, how the hell did that happen?
I heard that they had 4 touchdowns in like 6 plays or something crazy like that.
Yeah. So
did they finish 70-7 or something?
Yeah, it was 70-7. That's
That's
I'm glad you brought it up and I didn't. So anyway, something fluky like that happens. Maybe Jordan Love doesn't have to throw the ball as much. But if this is a one-score game like we're thinking, I would hammer Jordan Love over 235 because the other reality here too, I want to point this out. And listen, he could break out at any moment, but Harrison Smith, their safety, having a down year, guys. I mean, this dude is usually lights out. Look at that career he's had. And by the way, it doesn't have anything to do with him playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But 84, 55, 87, 85, 75, 91, 79, 88, 74, 77, right? Now, the last 4 years, 68, still good though, 68, 67, 55 this year. You can look at that one of two ways. The dude's 112 years old, right? He's 30. He's about to be 37 years old.
He's a grown-ass man now. And
he's more than a grown-ass man. he's on the back half of life there. So I would think this is probably the fall off as opposed to he's about to break out because, again, you've seen him trending down, for the last few years. He hasn't hit 70 PFF grade in, 4 years now. So it's going to be interesting. So let's see what Blake says here in the chat. Have we discussed McManus yet? Let's come back to that. I apologize. Keep that marked, Jake, because we had some others marked in here that we need to hit. I've neglected here. Let's hang out with the chat for a sec, see what everybody's saying. Wolfpack 3140 says, with J-Love banged up, should we expect Malik packages? It's possible. I personally don't like pulling your starting quarterback off the field to run quarterback packages. I love the fact that Malik brings that special approach when he is on the field, when he has to come into the game for Jordan. I love that approach, that it changes things up. But, man, when you start taking – name a team in the league in the last 10 years that's had success, I mean significant success with a two-quarterback system. I can't think of one. Go back 20 years.
Taysom Hill maybe with the Saints every now and then, but that's more gadgety stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
And how has that worked for them? What's their record been the last
right.
5? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of run things through that filter, Wolfpack. I love the idea. And boy, is it fun on Madden. Break out a little read option with Malik Willis. What is he, like 91 speed or something? So I understand why you would think that. Now, if the Packers are able to jump up to a little bit of a lead and they bring Malik in, that would be fun.
That I would be down with. But running him out there, on a regular basis, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you got two banged up quarterbacks.
Right.
We talk about Malik's ability to come into a game and, keep the ship pointed in the right direction. And, we don't miss a beat. We're able to get wins. You don't do that by being banged up. You want your backup to be as, close to 100%. That's why they're there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Jake, if you got anything you want to add there, so anything at all to the Malik Willis question?
I mean, there's a certain percentage of the fan base that absolutely thinks that Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love. Are there attributes to his game that maybe you could argue would be better than Jordan Love? I would think that that's a fair argument to do, but I just don't think that he is overall a better quarterback. And I think that he plays an absolutely pivotal role, kind of to Tim's point just now, is that if, God forbid, something happens to a guy like Jordan Love, I do think that Malik Willis is one of the best, if not the best, backup quarterbacks in the league right now. And if I had my druthers, I would literally sign that guy to as long of a contract for as cheap as we could get him, because y'all know I'm a cheapskate. But I just think that it's a little bit stupid to think that we should I shouldn't say stupid, that seems aggressive, but maybe a little bit misguided to try to bring him in when we don't need him, because of the fact that, like the Tim made, that we need him to come in and save our season if Jordan Love ever has anything major happen to him. And I think that we need to absolutely keep that ace in our pocket, more or less.
We're on a short week too. This is not not the week to screw around. We play again on Thursday.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, so speaking of backup quarterbacks, let's go around the league real quick. Aaron Rodgers not playing against the Bears today, right? And we kind of keep our finger on the pulse with the rest of the North, right? As 2-0 for this in the chat says, hopefully Mason Rudolph is a good backup today. Here's the thing about this that people are overlooking. Let me get to the Ian Rappaport tweet first. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been pushing to play against the Bears, but in the end, it was too quick per me and Tom Pelissero. Rodgers should play next week, but the turnaround was just too quick. Mason Rudolph starts against the Bears. Now, here's the problem for the people that are like, oh, man, I really want Aaron to play. Why would they not let him play? if you take the Steelers offense from under center and put it in the gun, you are really playing left-handed. So I think personally, and Mooch kind of said this on the pregame show on NFL Network too, Aaron's not with that broken wrist, not going to be able to be under center and just constantly take that, constantly take the snap, jamming that wrist the whole time, right? So he's going to be in the gun a lot. So now you have to change your offense to suit that. I like the fact that they're going with Mason Rudolph because I think you're going to have a better chance to beat the Bears because their defense is so bad if you play your normal offensive game as opposed to, all right, we're going to change everything, just play out of the gun today. Because, again, they're leading the league in turnover differential. Their defenses look like cheeks, but they're taking the ball away, right? So probably not the day that you want to get pass happy or trying to run out of the gun when your offense and your offensive line and everybody has been built and geared around playing from under center, which that's what they do up there in Pittsburgh right now. So I don't think you'll see a huge drop off from Mason Rudolph or from Aaron Rodgers to Mason Rudolph from an offensive production standpoint. I think you'll probably see them lean into the run a little bit and kind of go from there. So definitely want to get your all's take on that between the Bears and the Steelers. We kind of talked about it a little bit last night, but
yeah, I mean, as a fan, you want to see Aaron own Chicago again one last time. I mean, I think the writing's pretty much on the wall. We know this is Aaron's last season, before retirement. So it would have been cool to get a treat just to get to see him own the Bears in Chicago. But I'm with you, Clay. It's the same logic, right? What good does it do for, Mike Tomlin to throw him out there and then possibly, make things even worse? I mean, has a broken wrist, correct? Fractured wrist.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So taking snaps could be difficult. One bad play to the turf, you put that hand out to brace yourself or you land on it funny and all of a sudden you lose them possibly for the rest of the season. So I think it makes sense. And I agree with you. We've seen it before. We've seen Mason Rudolph step in and, run that offense for them. So, bottom line, beat the Bears. That's what I'm here for. I don't care who the hell is playing quarterback today, honestly. Just get the win and help us out, right?
Yeah, and when you look at this, Jacob, this is why I'm kind of pointing this out too. Let's look at where the Steelers rank on our PTA power rankings and where Chicago ranks. The Steelers are 9th, okay? The Bears are 14th. Now look at what the Steelers have done well. The only thing bringing them – well, I don't want to say the only thing bringing them down. One of the things that's kind of brought them down a little bit is their winning percentage is 12th, right? So you would assume they probably should have won more games than they did. Their points per play has been 7th, all right? Their defensive points per play allowed is 10th. So scoring offense, 7th, scoring defense, 10th. Now, when you look at the yards per play, it's 19th. On defense, it's 17th. But their turnover differential is 5th best. That has a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers in the RPO game, right? So Mason Rudolph has got to protect the football. And it looks like they have up to this point, and they've also taken the ball away pretty effectively because that margin kind of has both of those stats baked in. Now, when you look at the Bears, what do they do well? Scoring offense, 12th. Scoring defense, 30th, right? Offensive yards per play, basically effectiveness of the offense, 8th best in the league. They're 30th in defensive yards per play allowed. So, yes, your offense, yours being the Pittsburgh Steelers, might take a slight step back with Aaron not in there. But if you continue to do what you do, I think you're going to be just fine. Because when you look at the rushing defense, let's see where Chicago's at there. I didn't even take time to look at this. Chicago has the 29th worst rushing defense in the league. So they should be able to run a rock on them. I'm hoping that's the case with Chicago.
Yeah, and I mean, to people's credit, Mason Rudolph at 216.5, Caleb Williams, the phenom, the future Hall of Famer, quote unquote, as he was told as we see him get drafted, he's at 218. So they gave him 2 more yards than a guy that was a backup, pretty much a career backup, Mr. Mason Rudolph. And to Tim's point, actually, Mason has shown that he can come in and he can control the offense. He can play big games. He actually, before Rodgers got signed, he was ready to take that team on his back and try to, kind of provide the type of leadership that a number one, starting NFL quarterback is supposed to. So I think that right now he's probably pumped. He's probably pumped for his opportunity. I would not be surprised if he comes out and he handles the offense the right way. We know Mike Tomlin is one of the most, if not the most seasoned head coaches in the NFL and kind of knows how to win gritty, old school type games. So I'm not necessarily worried about that. It's going to be great if they can go and knock off the Bears, obviously. But it's the NFL. Anything can happen any sort of week kind of thing. But That being said, would I have loved to see Aaron Rodgers absolutely smash the
Oh, yeah.
Bears? I mean, dude, it would have been so satisfying. So that's a little bit tough.
What did you have Mason Rudolph's over under at passing yards?
216.5. Caleb Williams 218.5.
I would hit the under on Mason Rudolph there. That would be that's how I'd look at it, because I think everything screams to him for the Pittsburgh Steelers to run the football. Yeah, against the Chicago Bears today. And, listen, you may find yourself in a shootout at the end because you fell behind and you had to throw the ball. That everything goes out the window at that point. But if I'm playing the numbers, playing the tendencies, playing the rankings, I would probably go Mason Rudolph under 216.5. And I may go a little higher. I may hit the over on Caleb Williams, because if Pittsburgh's able to go in there into Chicago and protect the football and force them to just turn the ball over one time, which they haven't done a whole lot. Chicago hasn't done it a whole lot, neither has Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what's going to decide this game, and you may end up having Caleb throwing more, but I would feel better about Mason Rudolph under 216.5 than anything else there. Personally.
Yeah, I agree.
What's interesting is they've only got Jalen Warren at 63.5 and then Kenneth Gainwell at 20.5. So
if they're both healthy, I would probably hammer the Gainwell over there, me personally. Because again, I think that they're really going to try to press into running the football in Chicago. The thing that's bailed Chicago out with these bad teams they've played is at the end of the day, they're still kind of in it, right? And Caleb's able to scramble, and for whatever reason, these damn DCs continue to call man coverage against him. And everybody's backs to the ball, and all of a sudden, the guy who couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a mop the entire day throwing the football, all your defenders are sprinting backwards up the field, and he's scrambling right by. I mean, you literally chasing a cornerback up the sideline. He don't even know you're running with the football. It's unbelievable. So I would play zone-heavy defense, which Pittsburgh typically, if I remember correctly, unless something's drastically changed. Let's take a look at that real quick. What has the Steelers done this year? The Steelers. All right, so they're actually playing cover one man 28% of the time, cover three 31% of the time. So they're definitely middle field close, probably a lot of fire zone blitzing happening on defense, and cover one man when they're in man coverage. So I would love to see them keep that number way down today, the cover one man number down under 20%. And if you do play cover one man, make sure you throw a spy in there on Caleb for sure. But I want to see TJ Watt, Tim. I want to see him harass the hell out of Caleb Williams and his pretty little fingernails today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get the dub, man. Go Steelers. Let's go. Yeah, we need some help. We need a little bit of help. We'll take it.
That's right. Let's do that, man. Let's go around the league real quick and just take a look at the other games and kind of see how everybody feels about them. We'll go to ESPN for this one. All right. Let's just take a quick glance around the league. So like we've been talking about here, that's a sweet little kitty sweater. If anybody wants that over there, it's probably cheap, 50% off. Take it for one of your ladies. There you go. Yeah. All right, so Steelers at the Bears. Looks like the forecast 52 degrees and sunny, so weather will not be a factor. Steelers are 2-2 on the road. Bears are 3-1 at home, right? I like the Steelers' chances of going there and getting the dub. How do we feel about it overall? If you had to pick one team or the other there, how would you feel about that Steelers-Bears game?
Tim.
Oh, I'll just say it. Go Steelers. Steelers.
I made my own line. I've been doing this a little bit more. I'm going through and looking at the numbers I think are important. I've got the Steelers as 4-point favorites here. So, again, when you're going on the road, that's not including that home field advantage. That would suggest the Steelers are 1-point favorites if you give them the 3, or if you give them the 1.5, it's a little bit better than that. But I like the Steelers' chances. I got them as 4-point favorites.
Yeah, I my heart wants me to say that the Steelers are going to pull it out. I just feel like that for whatever reason there may be a little Bears late game resurgence kind of thing, but I'm not going to root for them, obviously, but I just feel like that maybe they might pull one out again.
Got it. All right, next game, Patriots at the Bengals. Patriots are 9-2. The Bengals are 3-7. I think the Patriots probably win that ball game. We'll brush over the AFC as we're running out of time here. The New York Giants at the Detroit Lions. I made my own line there. The Lions were like 12.5-point favorites according to the market last I seen. I have it a little closer. I've got the Lions as 10-point favorites here at home against the Giants. Tim, unfortunately, the Lions should be able to take care of business here against the Giants.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if the Giants came in there and beat them. But I'd be pleasantly surprised if that happened. But my gut's telling me, Detroit probably gets the dub at home.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
all right,
just easy peasy. I just feel like that's snowball's chance in hell right there. The Giants come out, but to Tim's point, if they do, I will freaking be celebrating and be a New York fan for at least one night.
Yeah. All right. Of course, you got the Vikings at the Packers here with the 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. 46 degrees. Looks like it's going to be cloudy out there by the time they kick off. Might see a little sun peek through from time to time.
Spoiler alert: we're all picking the Packers in this one.
4-6. The Vikings are 4-6. The Packers are 6-3-1. The Vikings are 3-2 on the road. Pretty damn good record there on the road. Packers are 3-2 at home. Something's got to give here. This is kind of that rubber game, right? That rubber match. I've got, again, the Packers. I've got them as 6-point favorites on my line here. I think they take care of business. You guys want to add anything to that before we move along?
Better get it done, man. You dropped 2 in a row at home. We got to protect 1265. Enough of this crap. Get the win today.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
All right. Seahawks at the Titans. Seahawks are 7-3. Titans are 1-9. Maybe we'll look up. And the Tennessee Titans will figure out how to play football this week. Probably going to be the Seattle Seahawks, proven 8-3, I would imagine. They're 4-1 on the road as well. The poor Titans, Jacob, they're 0-5 at home. What the hell is going on down there in Nashville? Everybody eating Hattie B's and crapping all over the stadium or something? What's going on?
Hey, Hattie B's is delicious, I tell you.
But it makes you crap.
It does.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
That's absolutely true. No, I mean, it'd be, again, snowball's chance. But, you know, we talk about it all the time, the NFL not for long, and there's no given Sunday. If the Titans were to come out again, that would just be an absolute blessing. And how crazy would it be if, like, Pittsburgh wins, the Titans win? Like, we can look at that probably a post game, kind of showing at the playoff simulator how this things would stack up and show kind of the avenue for the rest of the year. But that'd be exciting, man. But I don't see it as likely.
You know what? We got a couple minutes. You think I ain't got that thing loaded up already, boys?
I thought you might.
Let's see here. Where are we at with the playoff machine? Since we're going through the matchups, we already hit a couple of them. Let's just do it.
Playoffs?
For craps and giggles here. All right, so let's just pick them out right here, okay? Colts and the Chiefs. I'm going to go Colts over the Chiefs. And you can see how the seating sits right now. Let me zoom here. Give me just a second. I apologize, guys. All right. So you see the matchups at the top of the screen. You see how the seedings sit right now. Coming into this week, the Packers are the 6th seed. The Bears are the 3 seed. The Lions are out of the playoffs right now. So moving along, Steelers and the Bears. If the Steelers win this, right, then that's going to put the Packers in first place before their game. I know they play simultaneously. Just hang with me here, okay? If the Bears win, and let's say the Packers win their game, then it's going to stay the same, obviously, right? If the Packers lose to the Vikings and the Bears win, all of a sudden the Lions are the 7th seed, the Packers are out of the playoffs, okay? So that's what's on the line here today at Lambeau Field. So if the Lions win their game, they're going to stay the 7th seed. However, if the Steelers beat the Bears, the Lions would jump to the lead of the NFC North. We're out of the playoffs, and the Bears are the 7th seed. See what I'm saying? So let's say that all 3 teams win today. Everything stays the same, right? Now let's roll it back and say the Steelers beat the Bears. Now the Bears are out of the playoffs. Packers are in the lead in the North. The Lions are the 7th seed. So it's just – and here's the thing. This same conversation next week too. It's that time of year, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. That's kind of how it sits. I'm going to clear the criteria. Jacob, is there anything you want to see there specifically, or did that answer your question, kind of what you think?
No, that pretty much clears it up. It's like you said, this is going to be an absolute heartbreaker / heart shaker for the rest of the year. It's just every single week is going to be kind of do or die. Where you start just either with between 1 or 2 losses, you can absolutely dictate the end of your season, and that's going to be great football, entertaining football, but also heart-stopping football if we don't come out and execute.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you got anything you want to add to any of that, bub?
I agree 100% with what Jacob's saying. I mean, this is the time. It's that time of year. I mean, our schedule is getting, more difficult by the week.
I was just going to say, don't we have
the Bears are finally getting a schedule,
Yeah.
Like their schedule's finally turning up a little bit. They've kind of had a little bit easier run early on this year. So yeah, this is where you separate the men from the boys this time of year, right? You cannot afford to drop games, especially not divisional games.
And see, I look at it way different than you guys do, way different than probably most of the chat does. I don't look at any game like, oh, this is a must win. We got to have. I just don't see it that way. I see it like from a win total standpoint, you can lose 2 more games the rest of the year, right? If you lose today, your back's going to be against the wall a little bit, and you're going to have to win some games you otherwise probably shouldn't have won. I agree with that completely. Because, like, if we pull the schedule up for the rest of the season here, looking at the Packers' schedule, right? Let's say today, you got the Vikings at home, right? You should win that ball game. Let's hope they do. Then you got a short turnaround at Thanksgiving. Let's say you lose that one. That's one of the 2 losses. Then you got to win against the Bears at home. You got to beat a tough Denver team on the road, or that could be the second loss, right? And then beat the Bears, beat the Ravens. You drop that banner down, and then beat the Bears again. That's going to get you to 11 wins, and you're pretty much going to be in the playoffs, right? I'd love to see them win outright, but I look at it like you can drop 2 more games. And again, going into the preseason, we did our predictions. I said 11 to 13 wins, right? Right now, it's looking like I think we'll finish with 11 wins. I think we'll drop 2 of those 3 at some point. But if you lose today and you run the table the rest of the year, you're going to finish with, what would that be, 12 wins? And you're still good, right? So you're just going to have to win some games you otherwise, probably should have lost. And that's going to be tough in Detroit. Now, it helps that Sam Laporta is going to be out in that game on Thursday, obviously with the back surgery he had to have. So they're dealing with injuries just like we are. But that's how I see it. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, guys? I kind of look at it like I never see any game like this. The only must-win games in my eyes are when you're facing playoff elimination or, all right, if we lose this game, we're out of the playoffs officially. That's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think kind of to what Corey Murphy's saying, like, I hope the team isn't thinking like that, want to know every week type thing. But I understand your point, obviously, thinking that
they're not thinking like that. I promise you that. There ain't nobody in that building going, guys, listen to me. We can lose 2 games.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that in the building.
No, and I completely agree. I just think that this is a brutal end of the year stretch. The Packers, I think I saw a statistic that they have the largest or highest strength of schedule as far as their last opponents in these back few games, and a lot of them are divisional games. I remember back in the day when the NFL didn't have as many they weren't doing the NFC North games with the first and the second games and then all the way at the end. They were kind of peppered in throughout the schedule. I love the way, honestly, that they're doing it now because it does feel like it's more entertaining, more good football, but it's also, again, it is stressful as hell to watch these games. But let's go. This is what we're fans for, right?
I love it, man. And I'll be honest with you, I can sense it. I can sense there's some stress. I really can. I'm not stressed at all, man. This is what I think about in March. It's like when you get to the back half of the season and every game matters. Oh, dude. It's like I was saying last night on the live stream. College football playoffs has changed college football forever. It's unbelievable that when you get past week 6 in the season, week 7, you're starting to talk about this is a playoff game right here because everything kind of matters down the stretch. We're not quite there with the NFLs. You've got, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 left. There's plenty of football left for crazy things to happen. And we're kind of looking at it through the lens of expecting all these teams to win the games they should. And we know that's probably not a reality too, right? They're gonna drop some games they should probably win. So I don't know, man. I love it. I love this time of year. It's absolute blast. So I know we got people in here talking about pickleball now. Is that true? Is there really a pickleball channel? Doug in the chat says, too old for this. I can't believe YouTube TV added the pickleball channel. The apocalypse can't be far behind. Unbelievable. Pickleball?
It's like
Tim,
ESPN the Ocho, man.
you ever play pickleball, Tim?
No, I'm a grown ass man, dog.
A lot of older ladies like to play pickleball, so I'll be sitting on the sidelines watching. You know what I mean?
I think Jacob plays pickleball at the club from time to time. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's the same pickleball we're talking about there, Clay.
You're probably right.
No comment.
No comment at all. He said, I've been on the injured reserve playing pickleball at the club many times. All right. Anything else, boys? We'll get ready to wrap up here. We're going to get done a little early. This has been fun, though, man. We got almost 500 people in here. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Hit that like button for us if you don't care. And feel free to sub to the channel. We'll be back live as soon as the game's over for the PTA post-game show, talking about what happened, why did it happen, and laying out the updated playoff machine format. But best way to support what we do here at PTA is join our Patreon community, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Look at Jacob sporting the shirt. I ain't even got one of those. That's
Maybe grab some merch, man. Get some merch.
We need to update the merch. Mandy was on my ass about that the other day. She was like, Clayton, you need to have hats with logos and everything. What are you doing? So
hats would be nice, yeah. Or we could get just Emilio his race car bed.
I'm talking to Tim after the show every week, going, I don't know where I'm gonna find time to watch tape. Like, I ain't got time to create merch, so might need to hire somebody. But Tim, you got anything else, man? Anything at all?
Yeah, I'm going to start working on the merch right now. I got you. I'll start getting some designs together.
I like what 2-0 for this says. 69-17 Packers win. Let's go. Let's go.
I'll also take 18-17 Packers.
Yeah.
Just win the damn ball game. Whatever.
Just win the game. But hey, how about a boat race at Lambeau? That would be great. That would be against the Vikings. That'd be icing on the cake. I'd love it. Shout out to everyone that's over there today at 1265. Man, Packers. It's a must win for me because I'm tired of seeing this team lose at Lambeau Field. Let's get this dub. This is one of only, I believe, 3 games left this year that we're gonna have at home. So go get the dub today, guys. Go Pack, go baby.
I'm gonna say 27-21 Packers today. I'm going to think they get a little offense going later in the game because we kind of pull off a little bit. I hope that's the case anyway, but I'm going to say something like that. 20, somewhere around there, 27-21, going to be about a 6-point ball game. I could see us closing in on 30 points, maybe if J.J. McCarthy gives us a couple of gifts there. But, Jacob, it's going to come down to turnover differential, man. If they protect the football, it's going to be a dogfight. If they continue to be careless with the football, I think the Packers could be looking up in the fourth quarter going, all right, the clock's our opponent now. Let's try to get out of here with a dub, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, I agree. And I know Tim won't give a score prediction because that's not his style. So I'll just go ahead and say I think it's going to be 24-13. I think that Emmanuel Wilson holds on to the football, that he plays way better than people think he is. Chris Brooks gets some more opportunities. We have a few patented Christian Watson deep balls where he just kind of shows out. I think Micah Parsons makes J.J. McCarthy understand what it's like to play full time in the NFL in the Lambeau Field, a.k.a. the Mecca of football. And I expect the rest of the defense to come out as well. And I think we get a dub. It's going to be hard fought, but I think we get it.
Nice. I'm with Chester Marcole here, not the Chester Marcole, our Chester Marcole in the chat. The Magic 27. Ain't that the truth? How about Packers 27, Minnesota less than that? We win. Let's go.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to say 27-21. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's go to the rest of the chat. Jay Cole says 27-14. Good stuff. We had a couple marked in here. Let's hit them real quick. Blake in the chat said, Jay loves Instagram posts with that Tundra making me want to get a foreign car for the first time in my life. Sharp looking truck. Tim, show them. It's Toyota-thon, baby. Show them.
Toyotas are actually mostly one of the most American-made cars nowadays. So just to be clear, it's not necessarily foreign.
How did you know that, Jacob?
I was doing some research on some stupid stuff. There we go.
Look how happy he is in that new Toyota Tundra right there. You kidding me, man? I said the NFC North. I can't remember who tweeted this out. The NFC North has no idea what they're about to get hit with. Look how happy that guy is. Unbelievable. Tavern Wisconsin Sports. Shout out to them. Appreciate you swinging through. Says, solid show, boys. Currently in the deer stand with the Orange Army. Packers 17, Vikings 13. I could see that. Close, low-scoring game. Go, Pack, go. Again, beef low on the other side. Maybe 27 points is way, way too generous for the Packers. I could see that score. That's probably
usually what happens too, and we go higher on the score prediction, and then it ends up being one of those. So again, a win's a win. Let's get it.
Yeah. Blake in the chat. Last one. We'll get out of here. Have we discussed McManus yet? Looks like very little wind at Lambeau today. We have not discussed McManus. I've been pretty vocal. Is once that leg heals up, I think he's the better kicker. I think that's who you go with. I don't think it hurts to keep Haversick on staff in case you need him on down the road. McManus, I think once he gets healthy, he's going to be just fine, man. I think this whole little flurry had to do with the injury, and if anything, the coaching staff made a mistake trying to get him out there a little too early. And listen, we could blame the coaching staff; it's their indecision, but. We know he was very vocal. I can kick. I want to go out there. And we know that they're watching him in practice probably nail those kicks, right? And that's why they went with McManus the entire time until that thing tightened up on him last Saturday. So I don't know, Tim, you're the expert kicker in here. You think McManus comes out today and kicks for 100% maybe?
Yeah, I hope it's 2 field goals, right? I hope we don't need the field goals as much as we've had in some of these other matchups. But I'm with you, Clay. I mean, if he's ready to go, I think I got to trust him this time. I think we've kind of learned our lesson. But then again, I'm not trotting him out for 65-yard field goals at all, or 60-yard field goals. I think McManus is deadly accurate when he's 100% and it's inside of 55 yards. That's where I'd like to see him, make his attempts from.
Yeah, there you go. Older than dirt says McMoney will return. Let's go.
Amen.
You good, Jacob? Anything else, buddy?
Nope. I got faith in McManus. I just think that he's a consummate pro. He understands what this type of part of the season means. And with anything, I would just argue, let's start taking the 3 points when we can get the 3 points, especially when we're in a divisional game this late in the season, starting to get into cold weather. Just let's take the points, man.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. All right, that's going to do it, guys. We will see you for the post-game show as soon as the game wraps up. We've already got a link created if you guys want to hop over there on YouTube and jump in the chat. We'll use it as a game day chat. I'll be hanging out in there as well. And the same rules apply. If we got a 3-score lead in the fourth quarter, we'll go live early. If it's anything less than a 3-score lead, we ain't going to look at it. We're going to ride this one out. There have been a couple of times I've texted the guys in the past, or started to text the guys in the past, like, hey, y'all want to go live early? And then I look over and, oh, crap, they just scored a touchdown. Never mind. Let's just shut up and finish watching the game. So we'll see how it goes, though. But thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we do go live for the post-game show. Thank you, Bates. Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Everybody enjoy the game. We'll see you soon. Bye.
There we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.